Okay, guys, for my pick'ems for the playoffs, I was sad in the opening stage that I was just like, I missed the mark a little bit. I kind of like, I had Eternal Fire going through in the 3-0 here. I was like really high up on them. I thought Cloud9 would probably go in the 3-1. They ended up going in the 3-0. Things got a little messy, so I missed out on this. Also, a few other like weird results happened, resulting in whatever happened here. Elimination stage, I'm like, okay, I can't really give it to Eternal Fire because I thought they were going to 3-0 and they didn't. So I ended up thinking like they weren't even going to qualify here. Um, I got this. This was good. I was really tempted to put MOUZ up here in the 3-0 and FaZe down here. That would have gotten me 8. But, you know, I second guessed myself. I thought MOUZ wasn't going to be as strong as they actually are. So leading into playoffs, I was thinking like, okay, what's going to happen here? So this is kind of where I'm at. Right now I'm thinking MOUZ is looking really good on form. They're going to beat G2. They've looked really off form. G2 had very narrow wins. They had to go 2 and 3 in the elimination stage. Sorry, 3 and 2. They almost went 2 and 3. There was that whole thing with like the Virtus Pro match. All of this got really tight. They could have lost here on the Inferno, the 2-0. So, you know, going 3 and 2 in this wasn't looking great for them. MOUZ on the other hand, 3 and 0, looking really strong. So MOUZ is in a really good spot in terms of just form. Navi and Eternal Fire, again, I have to look back at this and just look at how Navi ended up in the 2-2 bracket and had to beat out Pain 13-10, 13-9. Here, it went 3 maps here, but they got crushed by Cloud9, narrowly won in overtime there. So Navi hasn't been looking super good. But when I look at Eternal Fire, on the other hand, like, they looked like they were crushing things. They ended up in the 2-1 pool. They were able to dispatch a Virtus Pro. 13-6, 13-7 is a pretty good scoreline. Down here, 13-1 over FaZe. Like, they look to be very strong, and they only very narrowly lost to MOUZ. They're looking really strong. So I was thinking Eternal Fire easily beats Navi. It goes to this MOUZ Eternal Fire matchup. It goes to a BO3. I'm thinking MOUZ takes it. It might not be super clean, but I think they take it. So top side of the bracket, Spirit FaZe. FaZe also looked really shaky, like G2. Like, they're beating Furia 13-7, cool, but at the start of they're losing to Heroic. Heroic doesn't even like make it all the way through. Like, they lose down here in the 1-3. So they lose to Heroic, cool, it's a BO1. They beat Furia, who cares? They get 13-1 by Eternal Fire. Then they go and play Imperial. They have like a decent showing, and then they crush Complexity 13-6, 13-6. So that's also pretty good. So, you know, they're hit or miss right now, but the fact that they're able to kind of like bleed like this doesn't give me a lot of hope for them. So, you know, I mean, I like them. I hope that they can prove me wrong. But I mean, Spirit, just like, it doesn't matter who goes against Spirit. Unless you're a MOUZ, you're not beating them. 13-7 over Cloud9, and Cloud9's been in pretty good form. Then over here, they're going to go against against Imperial 13-2 them. Then here against Navi, like, it got close, but like the first map, but then 13-9, 13-7. So this one to me is a no-brainer. Spirit. Here is where it gets messy. Cloud9 versus Vitality. I feel like where we see like a much closer match maybe between like Navi, Eternal Fire, I feel like this is very 50-50. This is where I could be completely wrong in my picks. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, Cloud9's looked pretty good. Vitality haven't looked that great, actually. You know, they lose opening round against Eternal Fire. Okay, maybe it's just like opening match, BO1. Maybe they're able to win a BO3. They beat Mongols. Okay, it's not that bad. 13-9 over Imperial. Not the best scoreline, but, you know, a win's a win. Complexity, you know, not the worst, not the best. They ended up winning in 3 maps. Complexity got a lot of rounds. Complexity isn't that bad of a team. So when you look at like a scoreline like this, when they're getting crushed 13-6, 13-6, or this MOUZ one against Complexity up here, like, man, that's tough. So you can see how good and how bad Complexity could be. So it's like, it's so hard to get like a proper reading on them. But like looking at Cloud9, it's like they only got 7 rounds against Spirit. They 13-3 Ecstatic, but then they give up 9 rounds to G2. But then they 2-1 Navi, and like, this is a pretty big scoreline. So it's like one of those things where it's like, What do you do? They're looking pretty good at this event. Vitality hasn't looked good, but there's a few days left. Zywoo hasn't been feeling well. I think he's been sick or something. So if Zai was able to like recover in time for this match, I feel like they're gonna be okay here. But I feel like once they pass this point, it's just GG. Spirit runs with it on the top side, and MOUZ runs with it on the bottom. And then when I see this in the bottom here, MOUZ versus Spirit, MOUZ is the only team that can beat Spirit. They're the only team that has done it in recent times, and MOUZ has been in really good form. If MOUZ is able not to beat G2, but if they're able to beat Eternal Fire here and make it to the grand finals, I feel like they're going to be in a really good spot to win this. The only time I don't think MOUZ actually wins is if it's a different team up here. Like, let's say FaZe beats these guys somehow, and then like whatever's up here happens. I feel like whoever ends up here is going to actually take out MOUZ. So, you know, when I see this, I don't want to like make people think that MOUZ is going to win no matter what. I feel like if they're able to get to this spot, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to win if they're against Spirit. If it's against someone else, I don't know if I would still give it to them the same way. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking for pick'ems. For my HLTV fantasy, I was thinking if I think MOUZ is going to go all the way through, I think Spirit's going to go all the way through, and then, you know, Eternal Fire might end up here and then lose to MOUZ. This one's like a complete 50-50, and I don't think FaZe is going to go well. I'm thinking 2 from Spirit, 2 from MOUZ, and then 1 from Eternal Fire. And as I was going through this was from my elimination stage. I had Donk. He did really well for me, and I was able to pick all the IGLs from all the teams that were going to go 3-0 or 3-1, which were right here. I picked Chopper, Apex, Shui, and Kerrigan, and this did pretty well for me. But this was easy because, you know, I'm picking from 4 different teams that are all going through. If I'm going to pick teams that are going to the finals all the way, I have to think about this different. So as I looked at picking like Donk here and Chopper, and I want to get 2 from MOUZ because they're on the other side, and I was thinking like Shui, cheapest, I can't do anything else. I don't have any money left over. I got 165k. So I drop Donk here, and I go Chopper Shiro instead. And then I can go Shui, and then I'm thinking either Brawlin or Yimfat. And I'm gonna take the gamble on Brawlin. He has a bit more risky of a role. So Yimfat's been playing better so far in the 4 maps at this major, but Brawlin has a really good chance of, you know, being a really good player here. And then I'm thinking Eternal Fire, just enough for major. Cool. I think they're going to make the semis. So I'm going to roll with this one. And then for the boosters I'm putting on them, I'm just putting eco-friendly on Chopper. He's got 58/38%. So he's got 96% chance of hitting this. Shiro with like a 93% chance with 50% hitting big with the op. Leader for Shui, I think they could win the whole thing. So I'm putting him on this roll. He's got like almost 70% hitting it. Entry Fragger, he's got 82% chance for Brawlin. And then Noob, I mean, I just feel like they're going to, even if they win against Navi and then lose, I feel like it's just going to be, it makes sense to do this. So that's kind of my logic for this. Let's hope it plays out.